Welcome to the Expansive CEO podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Chapman, founder of Expansive CEO and X Squared Wealth Planning. Buckle in as we explore how to create true prosperity and build a business and a life that expands beyond yourself and makes a dent in the universe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Investment Friday. It is Thursday, October 5th, and I'm actually coming to you solo today. So we are going to talk a little bit differently. Instead of going into the, what's happening in the markets, we'll save that for next week when Brad Haynes can join us again. Instead, I'm going to talk about what it means to spend joyfully. And I'm super excited to talk about this with you because it's one of the core pillars of my work in X Squared Wealth Planning and in Expansive CEO. So if you've heard my tagline before, it's that I empower visionary entrepreneurs to save wisely, spend joyfully, and support the causes that matter most to their hearts generously. And people can pretty easily identify with the save wisely part, right? I'm a certified financial planner. That makes sense. Like, I'm here to help you figure out the most impactful way for you to save. Even the support the causes that matter to you generously makes sense as well, right? It's like, yeah, once you have money and or have cash flow that you want to be able to give back, like what are the most impactful ways that you can employ your dollars or your time towards giving back as well. And so that is another core pillar because most of my clients are very driven to give back to their communities, to their families, in a big way. And so both of those, really make sense to people in the seat that I'm in. But the one that people are like, huh, what does that mean? Is the spend joyfully part. So I wanted to talk about why I say that, what it means, and how I actually, help people do that through my work in both Expansive CEO and X Squared Wealth Planning. So if you want to know what that means, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. So when I talk about spending, we start from the very basics of what are you spending? What all is moving through your personal economy, through your business, through your household? What is the amount of money that you currently receive in and that passes through? Now, I also truly believe that as we learn to spend joyfully and receive joyfully, that actually is one of the keys to being able to receive more. And being able to receive more is a key to being able to support more people. So as you allow your business to grow, you will have this this experience of expansion. Hint, that's one of the reasons I love the term expansion and used the term expansive CEO in general. You will experience an expansion in your ability to receive money into your business, and you will be expanding your ability to support others by allowing that to flow to and through you, to and through your business, to and through your household. And so as we grow, as we evolve, as we allow our businesses to reach more and more people, it's not just about how much money we're bringing in, but it's about what's flowing to and through us, through our personal economy. Now, When I say spending joyfully, that can be an interesting conversation also to start and to have, because usually when business owners are, growing their business, there is there is stress. There can be a lot of stress around, um, what you are bringing in. Are you able to pay yourself? Are you able to pay all of your operating expenses? And are you able to pay your taxes as well? Right? Are you creating enough revenue to fill all of those buckets appropriately? And so, when I start working with people, a lot of times there's just a lot of stress around understanding, how do I pay myself regularly? How do I create enough revenue so that I can always pay myself the amount that I need while also being able to pay all my employees, pay all my expenses? These are really, really important aspects, and it can feel really stressful. And so there can be a lot of fear that comes up around money, especially with my business owners. It can come up with any of my clients, to be sure. But I find, especially with business owners, especially those with employees, the stress the stress and the fear that people come with when we start working together is quite a bit higher. So from that perspective, this idea of spending joyfully can seem really foreign, right? Spending is stressful. Spending is worrying if you have enough. Spending is, I had to put this one on the credit card because, I just, things are not balanced out yet. And I have to wait until I get, this payment from a client before, so there's just always this level of stress in the business, and that extends to the household around money. When we start to tap into the joy of spending, the joy of supporting, the joy of um, seeing what your dollars are doing in the world, when we start to tap into that, in addition to really evaluating, how much revenue we need to create in our business, that's where That's where the evolution can happen. That's where you can start to, again, expand your ability to receive more and expand your ability to support others more. And it hinges, I truly believe it hinges on this concept of spending joyfully. Um, Shout out here to, I did do a course once on, it was called Happy Money with Ken Honda, Honda. And that was a beautiful exploration as well. He really goes through a lot of this. So you can find the book. I believe it's called Happy Money by Ken Honda. And this goes through a lot of these concepts as well. What I want to say, though, about spending joyfully is that it's not about the fun stuff. It's not, oh, I feel joyful when I take my kids to the museum and they have a great time, or I feel joyful when I go to a concert and, I have fun with my friends, or I feel joyful when I get to go on vacation or, take a break, and go to a nice restaurant, right? Like those are easy, maybe the low hanging fruit if you want to start there. And so when you can tap into the joy there too, the joy of spending on those fun items without regret, that is an important step. So I don't want to gloss over that too quickly. But that's just the first step, because the next step is, how do you feel joyful? How do you get to the point of joyfully spending money while you pay for your mortgage or your rent? How can you feel joyful in that financial exchange? And then how can you feel joyful in paying for your electric bill? How can you feel joyful in making your car payment? Right? Those are the things that when we are on a monthly basis, like everything that comes out. So really like, yeah, how can you be joyful about making your student loan payments? Right? There's a hot button issue. Or how can you be joyful about paying that parking ticket? Right? Those are the ones where you're like, I don't want to be joyful about that. Um, there is still there's still a way to be joyful about what you're spending. And in releasing that money with joy, you are creating that energetic feedback loop of receiving with joy as well. Because what I know is that we can also be stressed about receiving money. And that also seems like, why would you be stressed about receiving money? No, think about it. When have you been able to receive your invoice payments? Things drop into your account, and the first thing that you feel, what is that first thing? Is it relief? Is it frustration that it's not quite enough? Is it a feeling of, oh, that's fine, but I wish it was more, right? Think about the last time you received in a payment, and then try to remember how you felt. What was your emotional state around receiving that money? And for a lot of people, it's not actually joyful. There's still stress even in receiving. And so as we practice spending joyfully, sending out all of our dollars, right? Like going to Target and buying Band-Aids. I don't know why that came to mind, but that was the one that came up. Um, you have to go to Target and, like I said, you have to buy Band-Aids, uh, and toothpaste. How can you be joyful in spending even those dollars? And then allow that to start to transform how you're feeling when you receive those dollars as well. When you receive them into your bank account, how how does it feel connecting with how it feels? As we do that, as we elevate our experience of both giving money, spending money, and receiving money, the emotional charge also starts to dissipate. We start to feel more light about it in general. And it allows us to see the opportunities that are there to make more money, or to um, be more discerning about where our money is going, even in a new way, because we are taking away the negative cloud that is consistently hovering around our money in different ways. And I want to invite you to start looking at that. You know, we can go through a whole exercise of, going through your budget, seeing what you're spending, and then aligning, right? That's another thing I walk my clients through is, how do we align your expenses to what you actually want to experience and create? Because when we align your money towards the things that you actually care about most, that's one of the biggest pieces of financial planning in general, is making sure that you are actually using your dollars in the ways that matter most to you. But if the feeling underneath that is always stressed, always resentful, always fearful, then you will continue to act and react in stress and fear rather than giving yourself the experience of joyfully receiving money, joyfully spending money, and joyfully finding the opportunities that you want to experience and create. As as we do that, as that happens, kind of naturally, then you're also, like I said, you're able to look for opportunity more easily. And that's where we can get into, how do you create the revenue that will easily support you? How do you start to figure that out? How do you start to run the calculations to know what you need, both for your business and for your personal life? Um, and that, when you make 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 or $100,000 in your business, that as you elevate through those different levels, that you are able to receive it and then able to let it filter to the places where it needs to go. I have seen this in practice with my clients over the years where, as the fear dissipates, as the fear around receiving and spending money starts to dissipate, the revenue increases. Their expenses also increase. Yes, that is true. And along with that, they're able to pay themselves. These business owners are able to pay themselves the amount that they actually need while also still paying their employees, while also still covering all their expenses, while also being able to save for their retirement, for their own emergency funds, right? I have watched it happen. I've experienced it in my own business, but truly, truly this sense of allowing yourself to move through the fear that can, keep you stuck where you are. That is where the opportunity lies. Moving through the fear of receiving enough, of being able to spend, right? Moving into joyful spending and joyful receiving and gratitude for everything that's around you. It naturally lets you start to elevate. And again, of course, these clients that I'm thinking about right at this moment, were there financial strategies that were in place? Yes, 100%. Of course. That's part of the package. But if it's just financial strategies, that's not enough. If it's just about you need to make this much in revenue in order to cover these expenses and pay your taxes and pay yourself, that does not seem to actually work. If all I do is say you need to make $110,000 a month in order to cover all your expenses and do what you need, to be able to pay yourself um, and cover, all your savings needs, that just feels like more stress. When you haven't released the fear, you haven't moved through it, you haven't been able to really connect with the joy and the peace that can be a part of your financial picture, that giving yourself a revenue goal can sometimes just feel like stress. So that is my invitation from this whole episode here. I want you to connect with two things. How did you feel the last time you received money into your accounts? So whether you are a business owner or an employee, whatever that looks like, how did you feel about your last paycheck coming into your account when it hit your bank account and you looked in there and you saw more money in your account? What was that feeling? Name it, connect with it, and then just notice. Was it gratitude or was it stress? Or was it fear? Or was it resentment? Was it excitement? Was it relief? Connect with that feeling. You don't have to do anything with that. Just notice it. And then the second thing is notice how you felt the last time you spent money. Notice how you felt in the moment. Like, I very rarely ever use cash. So, swiping a card or clicking a button. How did you feel the last time you spent money on something? Was it excitement? Was it regret afterwards? Was it numb? Was it resentment? How did you then feel 10 minutes later or the next day? If it was a big purchase, how did you feel after saying yes and after making the payment, right? Connect with that feeling as well and name it. And there's nothing to change. You don't have to do anything with it right now. Just notice it. Just be aware. And then start to notice how you're feeling in general when you receive money and when you spend money. Start to notice your feelings. And that's literally the first step, is just awareness. Once you become aware of it, you'll start to look for the answers. So that's all we're doing today. Just awareness. Awareness about spending joyfully. So if you have any questions about how you can move through to saving wisely, spending joyfully, and supporting the causes that matter to your heart generously, and moving into a space of financial peace with receiving money, spending money, allowing money to really flow to and through you in a healthy way, I would love, love, love to talk to you. You can send me a DM on any of the platforms that you follow me on: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, wherever, or even, send me an email at Hannah, HANNAH, at expansiveceo.com. Or if it's financial planning that you're looking for, it's Hannah, HANNAH, Chapman, CHAPMAN, at x2wealthplanning.com. That's X, the numeral 2, wealthplanning.com. And it's pronounced X squared wealth planning, just in case anyone ever wonders about that. So I am happy to, as always, receive your questions. I love hearing from you with anything that comes up that you're wondering about, whether that's for an Investment Friday or any other topic financially, for your business, for your personal. I would love to answer your questions. So don't hesitate to reach out. I will talk to you again soon. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if anything resonated with you from this episode, I would love to hear from you. Email me at Hannah, HANNAH, at expansiveceo.com, and tell me about it. And if you're ready for your greatest expansion, you can find ways to work with me at expansiveceo.com and at x2wealthplanning.com. That's X, the numeral 2, wealthplanning.com. So until next time, remember that there is enough, you are enough, and your birthright in this lifetime is to be expansive.